Hello friends, welcome to Aquara IAS. So today we are going to start a new series that is exclusively for UPSC Prelims 2020. So this series is mainly based upon the UPSC Prelims 2020. Okay friends, so let's begin, and here you can download the daily Hindu PDF short notes, okay, from the given descriptions, from the given below links, okay. So and here the online classes will also be conducted for the next 2021 batch. So and here the personal guidance will also be given, okay. So let's begin. The first topic is solar particle storm, okay. This mission is took by the NASA, okay. What is solar particle storm? The sun, the radiations, okay, the radiations which is released by the sun. So to read that, NASA has been started a mission that is called as solar particle storms, okay, or it is also called as solar particle events or solar proton events, okay. Even it is also called as prompt proton events, okay. When it occurs when particles, mostly protons emitted by the sun, becomes accelerated either close to the sun during the flare or interplanetary space by the coronal masses ejections shocks, okay friends. So and what does this mission reads about? That is, it releases giant space weather storms known as the solar particle storms. The sun which releases the storms, it will read that all, okay. So what are the objectives of this mission? The objectives of the mission is to study the how sun generates and releases the solar particles in the storm, particularly in the planetary space, okay. Sunrise contains 6 CubeSats which will observe radio images of the low frequency emissions from the solar active and create 3D maps, okay. It will also create a 3D maps to locate the origin of the place in the solar particle storms of the sun. So here they have 3 main objectives here. So what are they? That is to create a 3D map. Second one is it contains a 6 CubeSats which will observe radio images of low frequency emissions from the solar activities, okay. And the third one is to study how the sun generates and releases the solar particles, okay. Next we see stranded in India, okay. What is this stranded in India? It is launched by the Ministry of Tourism. Why it was launched? It was due to the COVID-19 pandemic, that is coronavirus. The foreigners who have been stuck in India, okay, the foreigners who have stuck in India, to help them, I mean, where are they located? So to navigate them, the Ministry of Tourism launched the stranded in India, okay. And it has the helplines also, and it will also helps to the Bureau of Immigration as well as information about the control centers. It has the control center setups by the states and the union territories administrations, okay, through the contract assistance, okay. Next we see Andaman and Nicobar. This is in news because 9 persons from Andaman and Nicobar, they came to New Delhi, okay. And due to that the security has been raised near the Andaman and Nicobar, okay. So what is the purpose, I mean, why they have been came to New Delhi? That is not the concern, but the persons who came to New Delhi, they are affected with corona positive case. That's why the security has been raised in the Andaman and Nicobar, okay. It is under the national security, okay. So here we have to see that what are the what are the tribes which are there in the Andaman and Nicobar, okay. So we see that there are 4 major tribes in the northern Andaman, okay. That is Andaman Island, that is they are called as Negrito, okay, Negrito. And it has 4 tribes, that is Great Andamanis, Ongs, Jarawa and Sentinelese. Next, Nicobar Island. This is called the Nicobar Island. In Nicobar, they have two major tribes. They are called together called as Mongoloids tribes. Okay, they are Shompen and Nicobaris. Shompen and Nicobaris. So we see little bit about the map pointing to here, because as we read the tribes, so we just go for the map pointing also. So here it is a Northern Andaman. Okay, so Northern Andaman, Southern Andaman and Middle Andaman together called as Greater Andaman. Okay, these three together called as Greater Andaman. Okay friends, next we see here Little Andaman. Little Andaman is the south of the Southern Andaman. Okay, and in between, okay, this is in between, there is a Duncan Pass. So in UPSC you will get a question like Duncan Pass is in between, like Middle Andaman and Southern Andaman, Southern Andaman and the Northern Andaman. So Northern Andaman and the Little Andaman. So your last option will be the right answer, that is Southern Andaman and the Little Andaman. Okay, so you have to remember this. Next, the Little Andaman and Nicobar is separated by the 10-degree channel. This is the most important, which because it has been also asked in the UPSC prelims. Okay, next we see further. This is some of the map pointing drills. That is, here you can see about what we are discussing now. This is geopolitical chessboard. Chinese bases, port facilities, upcoming Indian bases. These are the French bases. The black color are meant for the French bases, blue color meant for the Indian upcoming bases, and Chinese star red color are the port facilities. Okay, so where the Chinese are located, here you can see Chinese and French. That is Djibouti, near Djibouti. Okay, next French has at UAE also. Okay, Comoros Island and Reunion Island. Okay, next we see Indian bases. Indian bases are located nearby this Oman. Okay, can you see here Oman? This is your Oman. Next Assumption Island. Next Madagascar. Okay friends, next here you can see Agaliga Island, Seychelles, which will come under the Seychelles. Okay, just a second, let me clear the screen. Yeah, is it okay now? Yes friends, next we see Chinese bases. Chinese bases is located near the Hambantota. Next Gwadar. Next is Djibouti. Okay, so these are the locations which are most important for UPSC prelims. Next we see MPLAD, Member of Parliament Local Area Development Schemes. Okay, the funds under this scheme has been suspended for 2 years. Okay, and suspended for 2 years, and the salaries has been cut by the 30%. Why? What is the reason behind this? That is due to COVID-19. To collect funds, the central government has taken this decision. Okay friends, so now let us see about the MPLAD schemes. It has been started in December 1993. Okay, December 1993. And what is the purpose behind this? Why it has been started? That is to develop on the basis of the national priority. I mean, to develop the local areas under the national priority, to bring up the facilities of the drinking water, public health, education, sanitation, roads, etc. Whatever the good for the people, it should be brought by the MPLAD fund schemes. Okay, next we see under which department it will come. Okay, now it is initially administered by the Minister of Rural Development, but later on in 1994 it has been shifted to Minister of Statistics and Program Implementation. Okay, so next we see further, the funds are released in the form of grant in aid to the states directly. Okay, districts directly, and which are the non-lapsable. If the funds are not released in a particular year, then it will be carried forward to the next year, but it should be eligibility criteria. Eligibility criteria means the area should be underdeveloped. Okay, if the area is well much developed, then the funds will not be transferred because there is already good development. So what is the need for the funds? Okay, so next we see about the Global Goalkeeper Award. So Global Goalkeeper Award is presented to the Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. Okay, why it has been promoted to him? That is due to the implementation of the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, and it is presented by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Okay, so why he has been given this award to Prime Minister Narendra Modi? That is to implement the rural sanitation. And he also quoted that the Bill and Melinda Gates also quoted that the decline in the heart problems among the children due to implementation of the sanitation, that is Swachh Bharat mission, there is a decline in the heart problems among the children and improvement in the body mass index among the women. Okay, so this is the 2 points which which the Bill and Melinda Gates has been highlighted. Next, it is why the Bill and Melinda Gates will give this award, that is it is towards the sustainable development goals. Okay, next we see further, that is Union Ministry of Environment and Forest has finally reconstituted the Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee. What is Genetic Engineering Appraisal Committee? It is a statutory body, okay, constituted under the rules of manufacturing, use or export import and storage of hazardous microorganisms, genetically engineering cells or cells 1989, notified under the Environment Protection Act of 1986. Okay, so this point is very much important. It will come under the Environment Act of 1986. Okay, it is a statutory body. These two are most important from the slide. Okay, next we move further. That is, the government has set up the PM CARES Fund. What the PM CARES stands for? Prime Minister's Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situation. Okay, it is a kind of emergency or distress situations like posed by the COVID-19. Okay, the fund is public charitable trust with the Prime Minister as the chairman. Who will chair the PM CARES Fund? That is Prime Minister itself. Okay, and it also included some other persons too, those who are nominated by the Prime Minister. The other members includes Defense Minister, Home Minister, Finance Minister. Okay friends, next we see further here about the PM CARES. Some provisions I have took from other sources. So what are the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has clarified that contribution by the companies towards the PM CARES will count towards a mandatory CSR expenditure. Mandatory, here it is a mandatory, okay, not voluntary. This is a mandatory, which is most important for prelims 2020, corporate social responsibility expenditure. Okay, so just a second. Yeah, so which is a mandatory. The term corporate social responsibility in generally can be referred as a corporate initiative to assess and take responsibilities for the companies affecting on the environment and impact on the social welfare. The companies are benefiting from the environment, okay, whatever they are using water, electricity, okay, so they are benefiting from the environment and simultaneously they are hampering the environment. So further the CSR been implemented on them, that is called as corporate social responsibility. Okay, next we see further about that some kind of provisions under this Company Act of 2013. Companies with net worth of 500 crores or turnover of 1000 crore or net profit of 5 crores required to spend at least 2% of their average profit for the previous 3 years on the corporate social responsibility, okay, activities on every year. So they should spend at least 2% of their average 3 years profit, okay, average profit of the previous 3 years. Okay, so next we see anti-smoke guns. Why it was in news? Smoke, why it was in news? That is, in the capital city the anti-smoke guns has been installed in 14 areas. In the 14 areas to eradicate the smoke. Okay, so this was in news, so we should know about the smoke. So here I took about the smoke. Smoke is derived from the term smoke and fog. Smoke and fog. Okay, so next we see that, but it is automotive, but it is commonly used or described as automotive or industrial origin that lies in the many of the cities. Okay, so we see about the smoke are at least two types. We find smoke of two types. Okay, one is sulfurous smoke and second one is photochemical smoke. Sulfurous smoke, which is also called as London smoke. Okay, it is results from the high concentration of the sulfur oxide in the air and is caused by the use of the sulfur bearing fossil fuels, particularly coal. Okay, this type of smoke is aggravated by the dampness and high concentration of suspended particulate matters in the air. If the air has high concentration of the particulate matter, then it can be identified as the sulfurous smoke is very much high in content. Okay, next we see about the photochemical smoke. Photochemical smoke is also called as Los Angeles smoke. It occurs prominently in the urban areas of the large number of automobiles. Okay, where the automobiles are in very large number, there it will occur. Okay, it requires neither a smoke nor fog. It will what is the origin of the Los Angeles smoke? That is nitrogen oxides and the hydrocarbon vapors emitted by the automobiles and the other sources which undergoes the photochemical reactions in the lower atmosphere. Okay, so we should remember what is the source of the origin of the photochemical smoke or the Los Angeles smoke. Okay, next we move further. The high toxic zone. Okay friends, the high toxic gas zone arises from the reaction of nitrogen oxides with hydrogen vapors in the presence of the sunlight. When there is a presence of the sunlight, then the hydrogen vapors and with the combination of the nitrogen, then the gas will be origin, and some nitrogen dioxide is produced from the reaction of the nitrogen oxide with the sunlight. Whenever the reaction between the nitrogen oxide and the sunlight, then the gas will be produced. Okay, next we see the resulting smoke causes a light brownish color. That is, by seeing the weather we can say whether it is present the Los Angeles or the photochemical or the sulfuric smoke is present. Okay, so if there is a brownish coloration of the atmosphere and reduction in the visibility, plant damage, irritation of the eyes, respiratory distress, then it is called as the presence of the Los Angeles smoke. Okay, next we see further about the SIPRI, Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. You can visit this link, I'll give here, and you can see here the I button also. You can click on that, you will get about the SIPRI. Okay, we see next further oil crisis. So right now in the world there is a oil crisis which is going on in between USA, Russia and Saudi Arabia. Okay, so for this purpose it was in news, and which is most essential to see about this. So we import oil from the countries. Okay, so before going that, first of all we will see that who are the top producing oil countries in the world. That is USA, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Canada and China. So you should remember this. First one is USA, Saudi Arabia, Russia, Canada and China. USRCC. Okay, so you should remember this. Next we see further. India imports nearly 83% of its oil it consumes. Okay, making the biggest import oil from the world, and it will import very much high from the Iraq, and second one is Saudi Arabia. Okay, it imports more than 10% of its oil from the Iran, and it used to import more than 10% of the oil from the Iran too. Okay, so what are the major importers? What the India will import from which countries? That is, first one is Iraq. Okay, so first one is Iraq, second one is Saudi Arabia, and third one is Iran. Okay, third one is Iran. So these are the countries which India will import. Next we see further Southern Common Market. So this is most important, because in UPSC they'll ask like Mercosur is related to which continent. I mean it is a relation between India and USA, India and China, India and Russia, India and South America, in that way. So it is a Southern Common Market. Mercosur is belongs to the South America. Okay, it is initially established by the Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, and subsequently joined by the Venezuela and Bolivia. Okay, so we see countries, a little bit map pointing here. That is, we can see that first of all the established nations are Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay. So here you can see Argentina, Paraguay, Brazil, next Uruguay. Okay, here you can see Uruguay, Venezuela, and last one is Bolivia. So once again we will see here what are the countries. So those are, see, you can see here Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay, Venezuela, and Bolivia. So overall here there are overall 6 countries. Okay, 6 countries. Those are Brazil, so Brazil, Argentina, Uruguay, Paraguay, Bolivia, and your Venezuela. Here Venezuela and Bolivia are joined later. Okay, so next we see associated countries. Till now we discussed about those who are initiative countries, I mean those who joined together and initiated. In that, Bolivia and Venezuela joined later. In 2016 Venezuela has been removed from this nation, okay, from this agreement. Okay, next we see now associate countries regarding the Mercosur. Okay, that is Southern Common Market. Associated countries are Bolivia, see here, you can see here Bolivia, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Suriname. Where is Suriname? Here it is located, the Suriname. Okay, next is New Zealand and Mexico are the observer countries. Okay, so you should mark this all in your atlas. I request you all, please do this work, okay, by your own. Please pause the video and do this practice, okay, because it will help in your prelims to eliminate the options in very easy manner. Okay, so we see further right now geofencing. So what is geofencing? Yes, we see now geofencing comes under the Indian Telegraph Act of 1985. This is the first point which you have to remember, that is, the states have been asked to seek the approval of their home secretaries under the provisions of the section 5 clause 2 of the Indian Telegraph Act of 1985 for the specified mobile phone numbers to request the DOT to provide information by mail, SMS in case of violations of the geofencing. Okay, so they are trying to implement this by geofencing. I mean the states are trying to implement those who are violating the rules of the COVID-19, those who are escaping from the treatments, they should be come under the geofencing. So what is meant by geofencing now? Geofencing means first of all the area will be geofenced, means a number will be registered in particular RFID, okay, radio frequencies. Okay, next it will locate the margins. Geofencing will locate the areas up to 500 meters of up to 50 kilometers, like that, then if the number will goes out or comes in, then the fencing will alert the higher officials. Okay, so it is called as geofencing. Now let us see what is the particular definition regarding that. It is a location based services in which an app or other software uses GPS, RFID, Wi-Fi or cellular data, okay, to trigger a pre-programmed action while a mobile device or RFID tag enters or exit wide virtual boundary. Okay, the geofencing should create first of all a virtual boundary, then if one exits or else if one enters, okay, then the geofencing will be located known as a geofence. Okay, then the higher officials will go the alert, then it is called as geofencing. This program is very good to catch the positive cases. Okay, next we see further how geofencing works. Okay, see here how geofencing works. That is, to make use of geofencing, an administrator or developer must first establish a virtual boundary around a specified location in the GPS or RFID enabled software. So what is meant by RFID and GPS, we will see further. So next, this virtual geofence will then trigger a response when an authorized device enters or exits that area as specified by administrator or develops. Okay, so what are the uses of the what are the other uses of the geofencing? So here there is a list of the uses. It is used for security purpose, telematics purpose, human resource management, smart applications, marketing, audience engagement, social networking. Okay, these are the few uses of the geofencing. Next we see further what is the provision under the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885, that is section 5 clause 2. It talks about, okay, it provides a lawful interception in the interest of the sovereignty and integrity of India, that security of the state, friendly relation with the foreign states, or public order for preventing incitement to the commission of an offense. So whenever the nation will be very friendly with the other countries, then it is much possible to give and take the data, that is share the data. Okay, so here you can see the difference between the GPS and the GPRS, which is most important, and it is an important for UPSC prelims too. So we see the differences from now. GPS stands for Global Positioning System, okay, and GPRS stands for General Packet Radio Frequency Services, radio services. Okay, next, GPS is costlier than the GPRS. Okay, it is a less expensive. There are three in GPS. There are 3 or more stations required in this. Okay, here it requires only 1 stations, and its main motive is to afford, stand or locate the services, and its main motive is to grant data as well as voice in the mobile phones. Okay, it is utilized anywhere. It cannot be utilized anywhere. It is only utilized in the land in limited range. Okay, that is RFID. Next we see GPS published in many satellites. It is published with terrestrial towers. Okay, next, GPS can work with various technologies such as GSM, LTE, WiMAX, etc. And GPRS system is an integrated part of the GSM. It is a integrated part of this GSM. Okay, networking switchings. Next, applications of GPS are in exploration, surveying, mapping, etc. Here the applications are accessing emails, multimedia messaging, video calls, etc. Okay, so these are the uses and differences we saw till now. So please pause the video and go through about it, because it is the most important. So let me clear this to read you can read. Okay, take little time for this, make a note of this or take a snapshot of this, whatever you want to do, but be thorough with these differences. Okay, we see further right now, that is RFID. What is radio frequency identification? It is a system used for the tagging and identifying identifying the mobile objects and works through the small piece of hardware called as RFID chip, which is used in the FASTag also. Recently the government has launched the FASTag, okay, which each and every vehicles should be used. That is 4 vehicles, okay, above 4 vehicles. Next we see the chip actually includes an antenna to okay, antenna to transmit and receive a radio frequency, receive and transmit a radio frequency signals. These systems were originally developed as an alternative barcodes. It is an alternative to the barcode. So these such kind of statements are most important for UPSC, okay friends. So please be concentrated on this, be focused, don't lose your focus, okay. RFID allows objects to be scanned at the great distance, okay, track information per the unique devices, such supports the storage of the data. Next we see further, RFID tags also used in the tracks and manage inventors, assets, people's cars, computer equipments, mobile phones, airport baggages, and even pets. Next we see the Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary. Kibber Wildlife Sanctuary is located in the Himachal Pradesh. It was established in 1992. Okay. Next we see Agastyavanam Biological Park is established in the 1997. Okay. It is established in 1997. It is located in the Western Ghats of the India, exclusively in the Kerala. Okay. The ABR, that is Agastyavanam Biological Park. Its forest tracts are near Peppara, Shindumeg Wildlife Sanctuary, and Achinkoil, Tenmala, Koni, Punalur, Tiruvananthapuram divisions, and Agastyavanam special divisions is also included in this ABR. So this statement is important because in UPSC prelims 2019 similar question has been asked, so you should be focused on this. Next we see further about Pranvayu. So what is this Pranvayu? It is a low cost portable ventilator which is developed by the IIT Roorkee. Okay. Next we see Jeevan. Jeevan is also a ventilator which is developed by the Indian Railway. Okay. This is at the Kapurthala coach factory. It is nearby the Kapurthala coach factory. Next we see Corona taxes. Corona taxes is related to Germany. Okay, in Germany they call as Corona taxes because the equipments are fixed in the taxes and they will go to the empty streets and they'll test the patients. Even if there is a mild symptoms to the patients, they will just admit them. Okay, for that purpose the corona rate has been increased, but the death rate was too much low in the Germany. Okay, next we see further non-timber forest products. Non-timber forest products, it is also known as non-wood forest products. It is called as minor forest produce and special minor alternative and secondary forest products. It is also useful for the substances, materials and commodities obtained from the forest which do not require harvesting for logging. Okay, so they include what kind of trees which are included in the non-timber forest products. Those are game animals, fur bearers, nut seeds, berries, mushrooms, oils, saps, foliage, pollarding, medicinal plants, peat, must, fuel woods, fish species and forage. Okay, so next we see why it was in news. It was in news because the tribes of Odisha, that is they are mostly dependent on the non-timber forest products. Okay, they are just under the shock due to the COVID-19. Okay, so what are the major tribes in the Odisha? That is Kond. Kond is one of the largest tribe in the Odisha who worships the nature and the streams. Next is Saurus. Saurus is the ancient tribes of India. Okay, also mentioned in the Hindu epic, that is Mahabharata and the Ramayana. The other tribes in the Odisha mentions Bonda, Santhanals, Gonds, Bhumyas, Urans, Koyas. Okay. Next we see further about the NTFPs, that is non-timber forest products. Non-timber forest products. Okay. So these are from India. Hope so. Yeah. These are from India. What are included? That is edible plant products, medicinal plant products, aromatic plants, gums and resin excluding plants, dyes and color yielding plants, fiber and floss yielding plants, jam yielding plants, bamboos, canes, fodder and forge, fuel wood, charcoal, briquettes, leaves and plates. Next we see further, the European Commission has launched the United for Biodiversity. It is most important. You should just by heart this, remember this, whatever you want to do this, but you should not forget this. Okay. So the European Commission has launched the United for Biodiversity. When it has been launched, that is on World Wildlife Day of 2020, 3rd March of 2020. Okay. Why it has been launched? That is to bring the awareness in the many countries. Okay. So next we see further. Just a second. Yeah. So it has launched on 3rd March of 2020. It is a coalition made up of zoos, aquarium, botanical gardens, natural parks and natural history and science museums around the world. So you should remember this, it is around the world, not only in the European Commissions. Okay, so it is around the world. The coalition offers the opportunity for all such infrastructure institutions to join forces and boost public awareness about the nature crisis. Okay, next we see Mo Prativa. Okay. Mo Prativa. What is this Mo Prativa? It is an initiative of the Odisha government, that is with the collaboration of the UNICEF, that is United Nations Children's Fund. Okay, for the children to participate in online competitions such as writing slogans, drawing, short story writings, paintings, etc. Under this program, certificate will be given every week. Okay. Next we see further hydroxychloroquine. The Indian government has decided to ease its ban on the export of hydroxychloroquine. So hydroxychloroquine is very much in news right now. Why it was in news? Because it is used to treat the coronavirus. So what is hydroxychloroquine actually? We see that it is an anti-malarial drug options. Okay, it is considered less toxic than the chloroquine. So tell me in the comment sections what is the uses of the chloroquine and is it banned in India or not. Okay. Next we see it also prescribed for patients of rheumatoid arthritis and lupus. Next we see Pench Tiger Reserve. So Pench Tiger Reserve is located in the two states, that is Madhya Pradesh and the Maharashtra. Okay, it is located in the Madhya Pradesh and the Maharashtra. Ordinarily, the reference to the Pench is mostly to the tiger reserves in the Madhya Pradesh. So most probably you can say it is located in the Madhya Pradesh. Okay, so why it was in news? That is, a tiger got the coronavirus in the USA. So where it has gone? That is in Bronx Zoo. Remember this zoo name? That is in Bronx Zoo. It was in New York, USA. A tiger got the positive corona. So this tiger got the corona positive. It is not necessary, but this is an most important. That is Bronx Zoo, which is in New York, USA. Okay. So similarly, tiger reserves, major tiger reserves are in Madhya Pradesh. That is Pench Tiger Reserve. Okay. So friends, I hope this is it for this video. Yeah, let me tell you one thing before I'm ending this lecture. So these are the current affairs. So these are the exclusive current affairs for only for Films 2020. Okay, So and it has been included from 1st April, okay, 1st April to 10th April, 1st April to 10th April of 2020. So rest of the videos will come in the next videos, okay, rest of the classes will come under next videos. So until then, please stay tuned, be happy, be safe at home, don't go anywhere outside, okay. So please do subscribe for Acquire IAS for more updates. Stay tuned. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Good night.